Hey, I'm Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com, and this is my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell notification. On my channel, I talk about narcissism, and I read listeners' emails, and I give them feedback and advice on their situation in regards to narcissism. And it can be a narcissistic parent, it can be a romantic narcissistic partner. And so that's what I do on my channel. I am a psychotherapist and a coach out of Dallas, Texas. And if you would like to email me a question to have me answer it right here on my YouTube channel, you can send me an email at justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. And if you want one-on-one help with me, that's the fastest way to get my help, is to book a coaching session with me, and you go to mattpfeiffercoaching.com, and that's the quickest way to get my help. Obviously, I enjoy giving free advice on TikTok and here on my YouTube channel and on Instagram and other social media platforms. But the fastest way is to book a paid coaching session. And so with all that being said, look forward to getting into this email. So this email reads, I just recently went through a breakup after 4 years. It was definitely toxic. Pay attention to that. A lot of times when you're reading these emails and when you're listening to people, they actually tell you, they actually know what the truth actually is. It was definitely toxic, but I'm having I'm having trouble genuinely understanding it all. That sounds like cognitive dissonance, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. Well, I'll talk about it right now. Cognitive dissonance, it's when your belief system and your behaviors don't match, right? And you see this right here. She's literally saying it's definitely toxic, right? She literally said that. She knows that this isn't something that she should be in, but she's staying in it. Her belief system and her behaviors don't match. Why does that happen? It's typically a sign of someone that's being manipulated and gaslit. So with that being said, I'm going to continue with the email. A lot of discussion about narcissism resonates with me. Again, she knows the truth, but she won't stand in it. She needs external validation, which is showing that she is someone that more than likely is struggling with codependency. She needs external validation. She is having trouble validating her own feelings. But I just don't feel comfortable labeling him. Why? I'm wondering if he simply just does not love me, but was not being honest with me this entire time. I was isolated, devalued, threatened, and often felt fearful to leave the relationship due to his spiraling when I would try. One of the things that she says here, and she talks about labeling. Number one, if you see a behavior for what it is, she said that this is toxic. She said narcissism resonates with her situation. It is what it is. But even if you don't want to label it, you need to look at the behaviors. Even if we can change the title if you want. You can call it toxic. You can call it narcissism. You can just say that this person is not a good person. You can call it whatever you want, but the behavior is still the same. You literally listed out the behaviors right here in the email. Isolation, devalued, threatened. Does that sound like someone that's caring? Does that sound like someone that is trying to work things out, someone that is giving, that someone who is looking to compromise and looking to see growth from the relationship? No, this sounds like someone that is extremely selfish, that is controlling, that's vindictive, that does not think for the best interest of everyone involved in the household and in the relationship. So she literally knows the answer to this, right? So the email continues. That was until the day he just said that he was done and told me all the reasons he didn't want to be with me. And that was it. Within 3 weeks, he was already with someone new. It's the discard phase of narcissists, right? Oftentimes they have a backup plan lined up. When we talk about narcissism, right? And I know she doesn't want to label it, but I'm going to call it for what it is. It goes in phases. There's the idealization phase, right? Some people call it the love bomb or the honeymoon phase. Then you have the devaluation phase, and then you have the discard phase. What a lot of people don't talk about in the discard phase is the fact that they already have your replacement lined up. When you talk about narcissism, they need narcissistic supply on a regular basis, right? So when the victim has gotten to a point where they are devalued, right? When so they choose their victims, they choose their prey, right, for a specific reason. And once the narcissistic supply is completely used up, is completely dried up, right, narcissists oftentimes will exchange for new supply. It's like upgrading to a new phone. And I'm not saying that the new supply is an upgrade, but you need to think of it like this. They get a new phone. However, even though you get a new phone, because narcissists think of victims as an extension of who they are, right? So the new supply is nothing special, right? They're no better than you, they're no worse than you, but it's a new toy for the narcissist. However, when we talk about narcissistic hoovering, they have no problem going back to the old phone to retrieve old messages and things like that. And I'll talk about that in another video, but this email continues on to read. The reason I question if he is a narcissist or not is because he is an incredible father, so loving, affectionate, and compassionate to his 6-year-old son. I think I am searching for answers due to the trauma that was endured within the relationship and the current emotional suffering. My question is it possible for a narcissist to be such a great father? Thank you for your time and your education. So the answer to this is yes. But there's a big but. It's very surface level. When we talk about narcissists with their children, they think of their children the same way that they think of the narcissistic victim. They think of them as an extension of who they are, as a tool. So you may notice that he is being a great parent for additional narcissistic supply. He may be a great parent when it comes to when the limelight is on him, when he is at a baseball game for his son. I don't know if he has, if these are boys or girls or anything like that, but just as an example, narcissists oftentimes, when the spotlight is on them, they can be great parents when they are at church, when they are at school, when there's camera on them, right? However, you will notice that with a lot of narcissists, they don't actually take up the responsibility for children. When it comes time to actually like put them to bed, and when it comes time to feed them and those sorts of things, that part of it is very different. For a lot of people, for a lot of narcissists, they want kids for what? Because they will always have access to you, is what it's really about. And so the answer to your question is yes. On the surface, it can look like he's a great father. And so you have to make a decision based on what you talked about previously, right? Because and let me clarify something. If he's treating you like this in front of your children, he's not a great father, right? A great father would treat the mother of his children, even if it's not working out between the two of you, he would treat you with respect, even if he wants out, even if it's not working, even if you guys are headed towards divorce, and let's just say that you guys grew apart, he would still treat you with respect and not isolate, devalue, and threaten, right? Because a true father, someone who has empathy, right? Because narcissists lack empathy. Someone who has a deep level of empathy can acknowledge that even though I don't want to be with this person anymore, I know that I need to show this person some respect. So then to model that type of image for my children. And it doesn't sound like he's doing this, and it also does not sound like he's capable of this. So keep that in mind as you're making your decision. So thank you for submitting this. And once again, anyone else who would like for me to answer any questions right here on my YouTube channel, send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Don't send me emails trying to book a session to that email. They will not be responded to. Also, make sure your emails are 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be straight and direct to the point. I really don't miss emails. It might take me some time to get to them. I have to take care of my paid coaching clients first. I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of DMs, but I will get to it, and we will go from there. And until then, once again, if you want to book a session with me, mattpfeiffercoaching.com. I also have a podcast, Toxic to Triumph. You can hear that on all major podcast platforms. And until then, I will see you tomorrow.